that address if I'm still there. And I make sure you get cracked.
Pride and poise. Commitment to excellence. Just win, baby. The Raider mystique was the vision of one man, Al Davis. But before 1976, it was largely unrealized. Oakland never won when it mattered most.
The Baltimore Colts are the AFC champions, and it's on to the Super Bowl.
That's the end of the American Football Conference Championship game. The Dolphins dominated all the way.
Between 1968 and 1975, the Raiders played in 6 AFC championship games and lost all 6, each time to the eventual Super Bowl champion.
When you get as close as we had gotten, and then not to be able to get it done, and then to get so close, the frustration just continued to mount. Tough guys are tough guys on the field, but football players are no different than anybody else. You really feel bad when you lose. Maybe guys have too much pride or have an image of being too tough to cry outwardly, but I've seen guys that are really hurt by not winning, and I've been one of them. We've been bridesmaids a lot of times.
If the Raiders were ever going to become a champion, they would have to beat the Steelers. In the first game of the 1976 season, Pittsburgh led by 2 touchdowns with 5 minutes remaining.
They came right out and they got ahead of us, but we did have one of Kenny Stabler's great comeback games, and we took them down. Kenny to Casper.
Stabler is back to pass. He waits. He fires. He's got Casper. Touchdown, Raiders!
Kenny to Branch.
Here comes the rush. He ducks under it. He's running to the left. He throws. Throws, makes the catch.
Once we got going, we could score quick.
Right to the 15. Right to the 10. Right to the 5.
Give Kenny an inch, he would take a yard.
Stabler rolling to the left. He could take it in. He tucks it under. He's at the 2. Touchdown, Raiders! Well, it's all even at 28 all. 1:05 left.
The Silver and Black's defense left Terry Bradshaw black and blue.
Fires. It's broken up. It's intercepted by the Raiders at the 15.
And Oakland handed the world champions a stunning defeat.
This will be an effort of 21 yards. Snap, spot, kick.
In the 1975 AFC Championship, George Atkinson had knocked Lynn Swann out of the game. In the season opener, Oakland's hard-hitting safety did it again, and Pittsburgh's coach launched a media offensive.
Chuck Noll said that they were the criminal element of the NFL, but that was the way that those guys played. George clubbed him with a forearm, knocked him out of the game, maybe a little outside of the rules, but that was George's way of setting the tone for the game.
I was nowhere near the football, and the ball wasn't even thrown to me. If he was playing the game of football, he would have tried to make the tackle on Franco Harris, who ran right past him. The blow was illegal, delivered with what I would seem to be some type of malice. It's our contention. It was basically criminal.
We never go out on the field with the intentions of trying to hurt anyone, but we go out with the intentions of getting our job done. If he don't want to get hit, his best bet is not to show up when we play Sunday, because I guarantee he will get hit.
Anytime he comes in my area, George's area, to catch a ball, he's going to get hit, and he's going to get hit hard. He's done a lot of mouthing off. Personally, I think he's more interested in being an announcer than he is a football player.
When we played Pittsburgh, it was a physical game, and those things are going to happen. You know, it wasn't only George Atkinson and Lynn Swann.
Pittsburgh was just like us. Very tough, very intimidating. I've seen Joe Green kick guys, stomp on guys. He's a Hall of Fame player. I've seen Mel Blount grab Cliff Branch and pick him up and shake him like a rag doll and dump him on his head. Our team played within the rules. We were just so physical that a lot of people always accused you of these things because they couldn't beat you.
The Swann incident magnified the Raiders' reputation as outlaws, and the legend of Atkinson only grew.
George Atkinson was the culprit this time, except that Atkinson outdid his teammates by being hit with 2 penalties on the same play.
If the Raiders were above the law, it was because their coach refused to lay down one.
We had no rules. There's no rules. I mean, just show up and play your hardest. John would preach that, and we would do it.
These are the greatest athletes in the world. They're like artists, and if you take their creativity away from them by making them robotic, then they're going to play like robots. But if you give them individuality, and if you give them some freedom, then they can be and play the way they are.
The Raiders had the most bizarre group of misfits in NFL history. The Twos, number 72, John Matuzak, had been cut by 3 teams. Tight end Dave Casper was a ghost. And there was nothing friendly about the assassin, Jack Tatum.
Phil Villapiano, number 41. His nickname was Fu, F-U. He grew this weird-looking Fu Manchu mustache one year and was wearing it around Santa Rosa and got in a fight with a bunch of bikers, and the bikers beat him up.
You got Happy Fella John Vella. Don't upset Happy Fella, because he will tear your head off.
Now there's a little bit of milling around going on. Lambert is off to one side, and they've got Vella off to the other.
Our left corner, Skip Thomas, his nickname became Dr. Death.
Dr. Death to the 25, and Doctor has saved the day.
On a team where the inmates seemed to be running the asylum, linebacker Ted Hendricks earned the nickname the Mad Stork.
His first day at practice, he rode a horse out to the middle of the field. On the horse, he had on his Oakland Raider practice uniform, and he was wearing a German helmet with number 83 on the side of it for who knows why. And we all just kind of looked at each other and said, fits right in.
The Oakland Raiders arrived at Super Bowl 11 on the threshold of greatness. A victory would cap one of the most remarkable seasons in the history of the game. Standing between the Raiders and their destiny were the Minnesota Vikings, another team that couldn't win the big one.
So here it is, the battle between 2 denied teams. The Vikings, who have 3 times been to the Super Bowl, never a winner. The Raiders 6 times on the threshold, not getting here. These are hungry football teams, and the world waits to find out who's going to wear that Super Bowl ring.
I'll never forget, in the locker room before the game, Coach Madden said, this will be the single biggest event in your whole life, as long as you win.
The Raider offensive line never had a finer hour. Gene Upshaw and Art Shell chewed up Minnesota's Purple People Eaters, and Oakland rolled up more rushing yards than any team in Super Bowl history. Behind a wall of silver and black, the snake was flawless, picking Minnesota to pieces.
A brilliant work of art by the master of his position. Yasha Heifetz never played a violin with more dexterity than Kenny Stabler is playing the Minnesota Viking defense.
Super Bowl 11 was never a contest. It was total domination. This silver and black Sunday had been a long time coming. After 16 victories and just 1 defeat, the greatness of the Raiders was undeniable, and ageless cornerback Willie Brown carried them into history.
He's going all the way! Old man Willie! Look at the Oakland Raiders joining him. They're coming off the bench. They're mobbing him down in the end zone.
Patty, come here, give me a kiss. Come here. Let her over.
No, I don't know how to describe the feeling. It was more than I expected. 40 Renegades together, you know, and really happy for everybody around you. Happy for John. John, how's it feel?
Great. Great. Waited a long time for it.
Feels like 25 seconds.
John was not the smallest coach in the league. John's kind of a big guy, and carrying him off the field was kind of a task, even for our biggest guys.
There it is. There's the gun sounding the end of the game. John Madden goes on the shoulders of his players.
Such a great sight to see him smile that way.
John Madden's grin is from